Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for coming back. Today I'm excited to do a plan with me. These are my favorite types of videos. So let's get started. I am going to be planning for the week of January 18th through January 24th. The one thing that I do first when I prep my pages is I bought this Posca marker, and oh my gosh, you guys, this is a game changer if you've never heard or used one of these. And I just bought the white, and what I did was, I'll show you, on the weekend they have like gray and red highlighted, and as you can see, I like to write my days in blue. So what I did was I bought this marker and colored over the red and the gray area. And the reason why I like this marker is because when you're using a whiteout, sometimes you can't write over it. When you're using your pen, the pen kind of like scratches off the whiteout. I'm sure if you've used whiteout before, you will know what I mean. And then when you try to like brush away the flakes, you can see what you tried to white out under, so you have to put more white out, and it becomes a mess in your book. Whereas these Posca markers don't do that. I haven't had any problems with them bleeding through. Like, you can't really see. You know, I did this other side. Like, kind of wrinkles up the page like a pen would. I mean, no more wrinkly than this, where I wrote, which I love. If you don't like the wrinkle, or that you can tell that it's been written on from the other side, you can use a pencil board, and that will stop a lot of that. But I don't mind, I love it. I think it makes it more like Bible paper, which is the reason why I love Hobonichis. So yeah. Anyway, so I went ahead and prepped this already because it does need time to dry or it'll transfer on to the other paper. So when I'm not using my book, what I'll do is I'll color it in and let it set for 5-10 minutes, not long, and come back to it. And if it's not white out enough, then I'll put another coat, and yeah, it's completely flat. There's no scratch off. I mean, I'm scratching it and it doesn't come off, and you can write on it very nicely. So I love those. This week I'm going to be playing around with some stamping. That's why I'm so excited. This set is from Lawn Fawn, and it's called Den Sweet Den. And I think it would be cute, like, to make them like polar bears, like, because she could be. And what I love about these little kits is that she could be doing different things. Like, you could see how her little hands are there. You could make her sewing something. You could make her wearing a scarf. You could make the babies wearing scarves. You could make her holding a coffee, holding a book. So these are so cute. You could do so many images. I try to make them like little scenes. Like my little snowman here. They're like, if you can't tell, I'll zoom in a little bit, but they're having like a snowball fight. And this guy's got like a little mischievous look on his face, like he's gonna get his friend or dad or whoever. And he's like, oh no, you know, like all scared. And so I thought that was really cute. And throughout my week, this gives me something funny and sweet on my page to cheer me up. And it doesn't take much space. Like I said before, I don't really use this section other than like to-do lists. So it gives me a chance to add some deco down here. I also added this little scene of snow homes, and I thought they were really cute. So I am going to be using this, and I thought I would incorporate this kit too because it has snowflakes. And I don't know if you could notice, I incorporated little snowflakes throughout my page that I can easily write over, as you see, with pen, but it just gives it something a little extra and cute. So I'm going to do that again with the polar bears and see how that goes. I might also incorporate some of my little emoji because I thought those were cute last week, and I'm still going to be doing my theme days, and I'll tell you about that when I get to the end and show you how the outcome. So I'm going to be using those. I'm also going to be using these inks. I love to use Versa Magic inks in my Hobonichi planner because they don't have they don't have any bleed through, and they don't hardly have any shadowing or ghost. And I also wanted to say I love to stamp directly into my book. I like the transparent look that it has. Like, even though the lines show through, it doesn't bother me. I like that because I like to feel my book when I'm just sitting here. I'm a book lover. I like to read and stuff with have a library, have my little library. I, play with my books. I like to play with them. So I didn't like the feeling when I had tons of stickers that it just felt really rough, and sometimes if I would do that, the stickers would come off. That's why I switched my whole planning style. So that's another little tip or something to think about. If you don't like the look, you can stamp your images onto stickers, actually. And if you're not like a little paper rubbing weirdo like I am, then you wouldn't mind having yours on sticker paper. So it's easier, because another tip or trick that I wanted to share with you, when you are stamping an image, it's really hard to get a clear image on a book because you see all the different levels. You need a flat surface. So if it's easier for you to just stamp it on sticker paper and then color it and then stick it in, that might be something to think about for you. However, I don't mind, and I'll show you how I do it. So I'm going to take my book out of the cover. It's easier to work with. Another tip or trick that I like to do is when I pre-plan, I use sticky notes, page flags. I use a lot of page flags and sticky notes. This is just to remind myself, like, what are the steps and things that I like to include. Another tip or trick that I wanted to share with you, the only thing I clean my stamps with is a wet paper towel. I usually wet one really good and then leave it on top of a dry one. So that way if there's ink or whatever to clean on, I'll show you when we get started. So I always prep my area by having one of these available. The pens and markers and highlighters that I will be using this week are, of course, my Frixion clicker erasable pen, along with my black erasable pen, and my Pigma Micron 02 tip, and then 2 Tombow markers. And I'm not sure if I'm going to go with the lighter one or the darker one, so I always like to have them both near me because sometimes I like the lighter one. The lighter one is number 451, and the darker one is I think 452. But I will leave a link to and I will leave, if I can't find a link, I will leave a exact detailed list in the description box, so that you guys, if you wanted to buy these, you can. Also, the inks that I'm using is Turquoise Gem, Sea Breeze, and Midnight Black. And then, of course, when you're stamping, you want to have blocks. My favorite blocks are these here, this size, and then these 4 sizes right here. I really love these sizes, and I can go into a more detailed video. Okay guys, so the first thing that I do, of course, is kind of draw your attention to my days of the week by coloring them in and writing them in bolder marker to give it a pop of color, of course, because I like to color code and to make them stand out on the page. And then a little thing I wanted to mention, or a little tip, I guess, is if you don't know how to do block letters, first color them in with a marker, and then go ahead and trace around them with a pen. So then you have blocked letters. Also, idea I wanted to share is if you don't like to use your Hobonichi as a timed tracker or time management, what you could do is, because the ink, the print is so light, you can completely ignore them, section them off to areas or sections that you would use. I would suggest like work, home, errands, journaling, to-dos, projects, certain members of the family, children, husband, things like that. I do use the times, and I also do the sections. On times that I'm not doing nothing, I, like I said, add my to-do list and errands. I usually do my errands after school, so I will put those at 2 o'clock when I get off work. I don't usually start work until 8. So before then, I don't have much to do other than my Bible study and maybe some exercise sometimes. So on the top section of my planner, I like to use as like reminders or like habit trackers. Like I put in my hydrate and Bible study, basically checklist. Like, did I do it? It helps me to keep it written there, even though I have a tracker. But I also like to write it there to give myself a little reminder. In the sidebar, I also keep a habit tracker because I'm keeping a health log. And if you're interested in what I mean by health log and monthly chart, I can leave a link to a video that I did on the setup and flip through of this particular planner, my Hobonichi cousin, so that you can get some ideas for yourself if you're new to Hobonichi. The next thing that I like to do after my schedule and blocking off my time is I like to separate each day with a theme for that day. For one reason is that it helps me to stay on track. I can be very goal-oriented, which can also be bad because I lose track of time with what I'm doing and I forget. So this is a way for me to remind myself to keep balance in my life. So, for example, Monday will be Make It Monday. I am like an artist. I like to play with crafts, stationery, and so does my son. So Make It Monday, we like to do a craft together. Sometimes if he's doing something or he's not here, I do one by myself, but basically it's, doing a craft. Tuesday, it's YouTube and To Be Tuesday is what I call it, where I spend time with my planner recording my editing or playing with my stamps, coloring, things like that in my planner. Wednesday is Wash It Wednesday, and that's when I do all the laundry and deep clean specific areas in my home. Thursday is Act of Kindness Day or Love Day. Thankful Thursday is what I like to call it. I am very thankful for my blessings, and therefore I like to share the love with an act of kindness that I usually like to get my son involved with. Family Friday is where I plan a day with all of my boys, not just my smallest son, which he's home with me. But sometimes we watch movies, sometimes we barbecue, things like that on Friday. Saturday, set up Saturday, and that's usually when I set up for next week, where I meal plan or I, set up my planner. Then I also record and do editing for YouTube on that day as well. Sunday is SON day, and that activity my son gets to pick what we were going to do. Today's Sunday, so I'm uploading this video, and he would like to play Scrabble. We got a new Scrabble board, so we're going to put that to use. And those are just some ideas on how maybe you can incorporate balance in your life and theme your days and make it a little fun. I love stamping, so this was a neat way to incorporate some of my cute little stamps. So yeah. Also another little tip or trick that I want to share with you is if you do land up having an image where it doesn't come out quite clear, like how you just seen where I stamped the little like sign, the Den Sweet Den sign. It didn't come out really good. If you have a felt tip pen, for me, my Pigma Microns are my favorite because they don't bleed through, and you can just color it in and it looks actually like the stamp. So this is my basic framework. Okay, so I set up my basic framework, days of the week, work schedule, timed layout. Monday's a holiday. I can tell by looking that I don't work that day because the lines section out my work hours. And then at the bottom, I sectioned out the area that I won't be using as a timestamp so I can write my MITs or to-dos down at the bottom. How I usually plan is the day before or the morning of, I'll write down what I have to do. So I don't actually fill in everything for the week. It's a plan as I go, day by day type of thing. On the top section, the first thing I will be doing is syncing that with my Calendex. I keep my Calendex and my Hobonichi weeks, and any event or date specific thing that I have to do goes in there. So at the top portion, that little box at the top, I will put in what holidays, like Monday was Martin Luther King Day and I didn't have to work, so I'm going to be using a stamp for that one. Otherwise, I will use a symbol, like little circles for events and triangles for appointments. I usually use the circle, empty circle or empty triangle at first. Then once I attend the appointment or complete that task, whatever it is, I color it in. And that's how I know that it's done and that I have to do it or something like that. So the top portion I will be syncing my holidays and dated events. Also in the section at the top, I like to write down some habits that I want to remember and not forget, such as drink enough water and do my Bible study. So I will also write in like a little circle that I need to complete those items as well and fill those in. At the bottom, the theme days, I don't typically fill those out at the beginning of the week. However, this week I knew that I wanted to edit my Plan With Me this video. I also knew that I need to clean the bathroom, and I have some donations that I want to do for Act of Kindness Week. Then I go ahead and fill in any of my tasks or uncompleted MITs that didn't actually get done the week before. I will transfer those into this week, migrate those into this week. Another little thing I wanted to share with you is if you want to make your stamp look kind of 3D, in this case, I wanted the little bear to look like she's holding a book. So I made a stencil for her arms. So that way, when I stamp the book over her arms, it will look like her arms are in front of the book. And you'll see right now when I'm stamping it down. I usually put my book to the side so that way my paper's flat on the table. Stamp down the little book, and then when I go ahead and remove the stencils of her little arms that I made, she looks like she's holding the book. I like to use Post-it notes for that because this sticky is reusable, so I can keep those little stencils that I made for using that stamp in the future. And there you have it. That is my spread. Again, like I said, the things that I like to do is incorporate a bullet journal style system where it's basically like X if the task is done, dot for a task, an arrow to migrate anything that didn't get done from the previous week. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm migrating any things that I need to do. The last thing that I like to do when I am planning is color in my stamp, because the Versa Magic, they do tend to sit, the ink sits on the page a little bit, so I like to give it a little time for the ink to dry, and it's best to color in after the ink is dry, just so you don't get smearing, smudging, things like that. But there you have it. That is my plan with me for this week. I hope I was able to help you guys and share some of the things that I've learned along the way. Again, this is like all a learning experience, right, guys? I mean, that's why we're here together sharing our tips, tricks, and glue sticks. So until next time, everybody, happy planning. Bye, guys.